Welcome back, everybody, to another Franchisors.com segment. We are coming to you live from an undisclosed location here in New Orleans with the lovely Kathy Deano, from a founder of Painting with a Twist. Kathy, thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you for having us.
Looking forward to doing this again today. As you guys can see, I'm a little bit more dialed back. No Franchisors.com polo, and I have a nice Abita beer local to New Orleans here with me. I guess I'm a bad influence because Kathy is not drinking quite yet, but we will get there soon. But let's get down to business so we can get to that drinking, Kathy. I'd love to just start with, since you are a founder, this will be really awesome to kind of talk to you about your recommendations, especially when it comes to your team in the very beginning of Painting with a Twist. What was the first thing that you hired for and why?
First thing we hired for was admin, because Renee and I had been doing everything ourselves. And we needed somebody to do admin. And what we've done is that admin person got promoted up. We got another admin person. That admin person got promoted up. So right now, our head bookkeeper, one of our development people, one of our ops people, they all started in admin.
Yeah, and I remember in the very early days when I first met you guys, when I was quite a little bit younger than I was now, I remember I had met all of those folks, and now they all still work there, which is pretty awesome.
Right.
And just in terms of admins and all that other good stuff, what was the characteristics that you were looking for in those admins that you kind of felt would help, in your opinion, to help them succeed later?
We were looking for somebody engaging, somebody smart, somebody who could understand our culture, somebody who understood art, if they could, and basically just somebody we thought we could get along with. I mean, this was people we were going to work with. And so that was really our main criteria. And I can't say it's the best criteria or that's the criteria I would tell everybody, but it worked for us and our culture.
Absolutely. And of course, you forgot the best part, that they need to understand wine too. And they need to be decent drinkers. That's an important part.
They need to be able to hold their liquor.
Yeah, absolutely, right. No, well, good. And so
and they all can.
Oh, well, I mean, yes, I've experienced that myself, so that much I can certainly agree with. I think this is probably going to hold true, similar to the characteristics you have with those first admins, is your first group of franchisees, what you looked for. But I think what I would personally love to know is what pitfalls did you guys encounter in the beginning with your first 10 franchisees? Because I'm sure there were some.
There weren't.
Really?
We didn't. Renee and I sold the first 86, I believe, and we brought them in and we sat them at a table for a day and we just acted like they were our friends, and and we didn't know any better. We didn't do any testing, any personality testing. We checked financials, but for Renee and I, it was more about the people, and they all came in. The first 80 because those are the ones we sat with, came in with a passion for it. They had done it, and they had loved it, and they wanted one for themselves.
How was that possible? Is the real question.
People were looking. We were coming out of a recession, and so people were looking for something else to do. People were looking for something fun. They were tired of the corporate grind. They were tired of the, of having to dress up every day, and they were looking for something fun to do. And I believe every one of those 86, had been to a class or multiple classes and decided this is what they wanted.
So you think it was kind of the perfect storm?
I do, and I've used that terminology before, the perfect storm.
Oh, well, there you go. I guess I read your mind, so that's always good. And how has really the profile that you guys have looked for from the very beginning of the business, because after the recession, it's been a number of years now, how has that profile changed for you guys, just in terms of what you're looking for?
We're looking for somebody now that's more business-oriented. Because it is a business. It's a fun business, but it is a business. And so people need to understand that. And they need to understand it's not the party that they went to or the class they went to. There's social media involved, there's bookkeeping involved, there's insurance involved, there's marketing involved. There's just so many other things that are involved. There's, HR, you're having to, keep your employees happy. So there's a lot more to it than just this is fun.
Absolutely.
Which is what it looks like in the beginning.
Absolutely, that makes sense. Awesome. And so, on the topic of those franchisees and all that good nature, I think that it would be really helpful for some people to kind of understand how you guys differentiate yourselves from other competitors within your space. I know that the paint and sip aspects of franchising has certainly grown over the years, and I know that you guys certainly were the founders of the category, but would love to just kind of dig into that and what you guys are doing today to stay nimble.
Well, we try and offer different. We try and keep true to our 16 by 20. That's our bread and butter. That is what people want to do. And people need to understand also is it's not just an art class. There's so much more to it than an art class. So we keep that. We keep the entertainment factor there. We keep the fun factor there. We keep the art factor there. But we also understand people are coming there to relax. Yeah. People are coming there to forget about the daily grind. What the kids are doing, what the job. They come there to forget. Right. And so we keep that alive as opposed to making sure that their art is perfect. And that's what makes people keep coming back, is what they feel like when they leave, not what they get to hang on their wall, because half of them wind up under their bed somewhere. No,
absolutely. I think it's more about the experience, because when I've done it myself, I think that for me, I know that I am not artistic, but I think that the entire point was for me to, it was almost therapeutic. And I never really thought that art could ever be therapeutic for me, but I think
it's very therapeutic.
Yeah.
They're finding there's all kind of things. It helps with math scores. It helps with emotional distress. It helps with anxiety. There's all kind of things. Now they're finding as people are getting more and more into it, all the different things that it helps with.
So I know that as your offering has changed and things of that nature, do you feel that even though a lot of your candidates now are a little bit more business oriented, do you think that it's important that they understand art and they have an appreciation for it and things of that nature?
I think it's helpful. I don't think it's necessary, because I think art will draw them in. I mean, if they're drawn to our business, then they're drawn to art.
Sure.
They may not, they may not be able to paint. I can't paint. They may not be able to paint. They may not, but they may be collectors and they just appreciate it. So they wouldn't come into us if they didn't have some sort of appreciation for it.
Sure.
So, but I can't say we actually look for that. They tell us that. We don't say, "Are you an artist?" Or
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, great. And so, in terms of some of the aspects that you guys have founded within the particular industry, Peyton SIP, I know that there are some consumer aspects of it that you guys really originated that now a lot of your competitors within the space are currently doing. What advice do you have for emerging franchisors that are in a category that becomes really competitive? How do you innovate from a consumer standpoint to really stay ahead?
Well, first of all, I don't think you pivot from one thing to another to another to another. It's like I said, the 16 by 20 is our bread and butter. That's what we do. We give them different, they can do wood boards. We've done wine glasses. We've done totes. And those are just added offerings. That's never anything that's going to move the needle that much. It's just going to keep people interested. But it's you do what you do and do it well. And if you got to a point where, like we did, that you had over 300 franchises, you must be doing something right.
Sure.
So you might have to switch up your marketing. You might have to switch up, your art somewhat, but I wouldn't pivot too far off of what puts you in a successful place.
Yeah, your core competencies,
Right.
I think, are important.
Right.
And I think that, over the years, as I've had the experience to really, seeing you guys in your very beginnings and kind of grown up, seeing the business blossom, I think that that certainly has helped very much true. So, awesome. Something that I know that you guys have been a part of this conversation for a long time because of the people that you've really affiliated yourself within franchising since the very beginning is unit economics. And I know that that's something that has been very important to your business model and the way that you guys have operated. How have you used that data to really, how have you used that data in an actionable way to make your business better? So
sorry.
A lot of what people.
I mean, can we just discuss here? Unit economics is what the unit is making. Yeah. So that's either good or bad. So how do you take that and use that to
actually make the business better? So how do you take?
Oh, okay.
Does that make
So
sense?
yes, it does.
Yeah.
So if you have a studio, we call them studios. If you have a studio that's doing really well, and all of a sudden you see their numbers going up, where maybe their numbers were flat, then you're going to have to call them and you're going to have to see what have you done? What have you done differently? If you see someone going down, then you're going to have to do the same thing. What are y'all doing different? Have you changed your social media? Have you changed your marketing plan? And do you have a new manager who isn't friendly? Do you,
Sure.
Sometimes the owner has just disappeared. They, they were making good money and they said, I'm going to go and travel, and they don't take care of business.
Sure.
So is that what you were talking about?
Yeah,
Okay.
and my follow-up question to that is I know, do you guys have a mentorship program between your franchisees so they're able to kind of ask questions to each other in order to
Yes.
really almost like help to solve each other's problems without, corporate kind of...
We have a very robust, we call it the message board.
Oh, very
And
cool.
so they can talk to each other, artists can talk to each other, managers can talk to each other, owners can talk to each other. We monitor it, and of course we can get on there, but we let them do that themselves. Then we do our conference once a year. We have Franchise Advisory Council, they're very robust too. So we have a lot, and our doors are always open. My franchises have my cell phone number, they have Renee's cell phone number, they have the office. You know, we've always been an open book. If they have a problem or if they just want to run something past us.
Nice. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, definitely. That was definitely what we were looking for. So great. So in addition to that, let's pivot a little bit into franchise sales, just so we can talk a bit about, you know, where your leads have come from in the past. I know that you guys are a lot of the people who come in your doors are very passionate people, especially about the business that you guys are running. So talk a little bit about, you know, where your leads have come from and how that's evolved over time, because I'm sure it has a little bit.
In the beginning, it was all social media. It was all social media and word of mouth, and people who had actually, our first 3 franchises were all people who had come to the studio. Well, actually, probably just about everyone had come to the studio, unless some of them were good friends with people and saw it on social media, and then they hunted one down and went and then called us. But I would say social media. I mean, it was. I mean, we've been on panels. Renee and I have both been on panels to discuss how social media moved the needle for us, and how we don't advertise at all. We do entrepreneur. We do advertise, but that's it. We don't use brokers. We don't use. We've always had a development department, but we don't. We used to do the IFE show in New York. And so like that, but never. We don't do any other kind of. We don't advertise on social media. Everybody just posts their stuff. And
I think that's really kind of the fabric of your business, and I think that I've always felt that has been really interesting, because you guys did that in the very, very early days when social media wasn't really the avenue that it is now.
And you know, I can't say we discovered that, because it just happened, because people were posting everything on social media, right? And then we said, well, we better pay attention to this, and because it was so new back then.
So within social media, what are some of the, if you don't mind getting into the weeds about this, because I think people are always wondering how to get ahead. Within social media, what are some of the strategies that you guys employ to really help?
Well, we always found that it was better if our customer did the posting, because they'll listen to them more than they'll listen to us. So we always ran different programs, different specials. Whoever gets the most likes, post your painting. Whoever gets the most likes gets a free class. Well, they were going crazy, trying to get people, and so it just would explode like that. And if every class, if you have 100 franchises doing that 7 nights a week, you're going to get a lot of exposure.
Nice. Okay.
In social media.
No, absolutely, and I think that that still holds true today.
Right. And we do it today. We do it. We still play the games. We still have them post on their social Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, whatever they do.
Absolutely. Well, yeah. I mean, I think that's when we're doing that on the tour right now. We're basically just trying to get as many people to listen to things like this as we can. So I think that certainly makes sense, no matter the time. If it was back then or today. So great. So just digging more into franchise sales here. I think that it would be important for some folks to kind of understand how your process has changed. But I think that more than anything, I think I remember you saying when I first met you that the way that you guys validate your franchisees is very different, because it is such a passionate business. And I think that I'd just be curious just to kind of understand that. How do you guys really figure out that is the right partner? Like, is there anything special or any tricks and tips that you guys have to really weed out the people that you think are going to be great franchisees?
Well, I can tell you this. I mean, neither one of us were professionals at this in the beginning. But I can tell you this, with the first thing they came in and sat down and said, how much money could we make? They were done. Because it was never about a money thing for us, and we didn't want to go into business where people would be cutting corners and wanting to know if they can get a cheaper canvas, and so that they could maybe make more money. I mean, the money's there to be made. It's a small business, so that was one thing. How has it changed? I think it's, like I said, I think it's changed in that we've gotten a little more savvy about it. We've gotten a little more business oriented about it, but we're still looking for that person that comes in because they love the business, and they and that you can get a feel for them, and you feel like they know what they're doing, and you feel like they're going to be there. It's really better to have an owner operator. We didn't always say that, but we know now that it's better to have an owner operator. So we pretty much are looking for that also.
Great. So I know you mentioned your franchise advisory council earlier. I think that a lot of people struggle with understanding when to start, looking for that, when to start forming that, and how to actually use it. So would you mind discussing that for a little bit, just so people can kind of understand that?
I think we were about 100 units in when we started our Franchise Advisory Council. And what's good about that is that they filter out information from home office to the rest of the franchises. And it's just like when customers post on social media, the public trusts them more than they're going to trust us. It's the same thing with franchisees. If it's other franchisees saying, we went to home office, we had our meetings, we decided this, they let us in on the conversation, they da-da-da-da, and we think this is a good idea. It's a lot easier for franchisees to accept that. And it's a lot easier for 8 Franchise Advisory Council members to deal with all of the franchises than one home office. And they feel like those people are on their side, and those people have the same issues they do.
It's their peers.
It's their peers.
Yeah.
And so they want them to have a say. They want to feel like they had a vote.
Awesome. Yeah. Great. Because I think that, one of the pitfalls that we all see is that people, form it too early, and the franchisees kind of become a monster that they can't really control. And there's sometimes when they don't have one at all, and then the franchisees don't feel empowered because they have no say in it.
Yeah.
So it's really a fine line.
Yeah.
So
I think around 100, we did it around 100, and I think that was a good number. Maybe we could have done it a little bit before, but we didn't.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you. So one thing that I've always loved about your business, and when you guys first started out, I kind of had the privilege of really seeing you guys grow from one or 2 units to where you are today, which I think is pretty amazing. Your culture has always struck me as something that's really awesome because your franchisees really truly love what they do, and I think that sometimes people say that their franchisees do, but your franchisees really do because they've seen it in real time. How did you guys figure out a way to really make that culture become instilled in all of your people, no matter if it's the corporate office, the employees of the franchisees, and the franchisees themselves?
I know for me, I always tried to be true to my own values, and I always tried to instill in them that we're always family first. Mm-hmm. We always told them we were family first. We're a women-driven business. We do have men owners, but for the most part, we're women customers and we're women owners. Mm-hmm. And they want to feel that, that it's not all business, that everybody's been running around in a suit. So we did that. And we did a lot of, we're a drinking culture also. We came from New Orleans. So, and that helps. It helps, it does. So I think that people would come and we'd pop the wine, and I think people like that. We didn't take ourselves too seriously, and wasn't a big buy-in. So it wasn't like they were risking everything to try this, and it looked like a lot of fun, and we were a lot of fun. So that they wanted to go into business with us. There was no secret. There was no secret to what we did. There was just a lot of personality, which people tend to like and people want to buy into. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think that if you guys watch a couple of the videos over the next couple of days and you happen to kind of see a trend with all the folks that are based in New Orleans, that's because there is a trend. All of you guys have a really awesome culture where family is everything and you're not really kidding about it.
Right.
And you guys are all friends with each other too, which I think also helps. So I think that things like that are really important, and I think that coming from a family business myself, I think that literally family is everything, but you guys really have that, even though you guys aren't actually blood related, which is awesome. So there are some threats that you guys do have from a franchise business model standpoint and things of that nature, and I know that you have over the years, you were just telling me before we started here that you're going to this conference and that conference, and I'm going to see you in all these places. You've been really involved with the IFA over the years. Is there a reason why you really felt that was important to do very early on in your business career in franchising?
I think in for a dime, in for a dollar. Mm-hmm. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it 100%. Mm-hmm. I think the IFA is the parent of this industry,
sure. And
I think that you need to know what's going on there, and I think that you need to be a part of it and give what you can when you can. I think you get that back 100-fold. So I think it was important to be involved. If people want me on a panel, I'll get on a plane, I'll go on a panel.
Sure.
It helps me too. It helps keep my brand out there. I'm always educated because who I'm sitting on the panel with knows different things than I do. Mm-hmm. So it's always very educational for me too.
Absolutely. And so I think that my favorite question, and I am actually curious because I don't think I've ever asked you this, is about the very beginning of your business. If you really went back to the basics, what was one thing that you really think like, wow, I really should have done that differently?
I think we probably should have gotten ops people in sooner. I think we were growing so fast that we didn't, we weren't paying attention. And all of a sudden we had 50 franchisees, and it was just Renee and I and an admin person, basically. And so I think you want to watch your growth. You want to watch, who you hire. You want to make sure you hire. And we didn't join the IFA until we were in it, I don't know, we might have been 30 in. And somebody said, you need to join the IFA. And then they said, you need to become a part of friendship. And we did. And we got Melanie Bergeron from 2 Men in a Truck was our mentor. Yeah, you don't get much better than that.
Yeah. And
that really, really, really helped. So I think there's a lot. So that kind of cemented the relationship with the IFA. So you really have to become, either you're part of it or you're not part of it. And I always, no matter what I do, I always want to be part of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much. This has really been amazing. I do have one last question for you because, as you mentioned, you guys are a concept that does have drinking within your culture. So I am curious, for all the folks in the crowd, what is your favorite bottle of wine?
Oh, come on. We just had this discussion. I don't drink wine.
Oh, I thought no white wine. It's a white wine. You don't drink no white wine? No, nothing. I thought it was red.
I don't drink white either. I mean, okay. My last hangover was on wine a week ago. So I can't really say I don't drink it. But, but if there's no...
She's from New Orleans. You gotta keep poking. And then all of a sudden it's going to come out, I had wine last night.
If there's no vodka, I'll drink wine. Because it was hot, hot, hot. And I felt like drinking. So, but I'm not a good wine drinker.
So digging into that
but Pinot Grigio.
So digging into that more now, how do you feel? Do you feel that it's important to, from not for somebody who may not necessarily drink wine and who may not necessarily love to or be the best painter? What really drew you to the paint and sip space?
I love art. I mean, you can look around. I love art. I can't paint, but I love art. I've always loved art, and so that was the first thing that drew me to it. And really, it was never supposed to be this big old business. It was supposed to be a little thing so that Renee and I had a little extra money. I wanted to send my kid to camp and, just like that. And it was never really meant to be this big old thing. But if we're going to do this big old thing, it's always a lot more fun if you can drink while you're doing this big old thing.
I certainly hear that. Well, thank you, Kathy. We really appreciate it and looking forward to seeing you soon.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.